Sasa wakati accidents zinafanyika, kwa nini zinakuwa blamed to drivers? Kwa nini pia yeye kama waziri hajahusika kuona hizi barabara zimepanuliwa? And also I also appeal to all clergy in this nation, because hii jambo tu sio ya accident peke yake. We want even clergy to get involved. Tuko na archbishops, tuko na apostles, tuko na bishops, tuko na reverend, tuko na pastors. Please, we want you to pray for our roads. And you can also organize to pray in the regions, because his accident hatuwezi sema ni kawaida, is not normal, because recently zimeongezeka. And we want also church to get concerned about the accident which are now happening nowadays. And we want prayers. We appeal to clergy in this nation. We as Matatu industry, mutuombee na muombee barabara zetu, mutembee mukiombee hizi barabara, na tunaamini the accident will go down, because sometimes munaweza blame drivers na kumbe sio drivers, there is more than that. So we appeal to all clergy in this nation, in all the regions, to organize prayers, road prayers, to pray for our roads. Asanteni. Pia also tungependa waziri Bwana Murkomen, mambo ingine yakiona inahusu wana matatu, ni vizuri kufanya consultation, because tuko na viongozi wa matatu, na ni vizuri uweze kuwahusisha. Hii maneno ya kuamuka kufikiria na kuchukua mzigo kuwekelea watu wa matatu, hiyo italeta shida. Na hii serikali tulichakua, hii serikali iweze kutusaidia. Na waziri waangalie sana, usiharibie rais kazi yake, because vile tulichakua hii serikali, tulichakua serikali tukitarajia itasaidia mwananchi wa chini. Lakini sasa ikianza kufika wakati shida inatokea, wewe unaamuka unawekelea watu wa matatu, italeta shida. Sababu sisi kama watu wa matatu tutakataa, because serikali ni yetu, tunataka tuhusishwe. Ile jambo ambalo unaona inafaa, husisha wale ambao ni washikandao wa hiyo jambo. Kama sisi watu wa matatu tuhusishe. Lakini hii maneno ya kukaa boardroom kutuwekelea mziko, hiyo tunaona italeta shida. Kwa hivyo ndio tungeomba waziri, wakati unafikiria jambo pia unatuita kwa mesa, tunakubaliana na tunasaidiana, tunaona ni gani ile ambalo litaweza kutusaidia, ama lile ambalo tunaona ni mziko kwetu, tutaweza kukuambia hii ni mzigo kwetu, because sasa hiyo sasa unalete kwetu ni mzigo, na tunaona hakuna njia yoyote itasaidia kusimamisha accident. Na vile tu ulianza kusema hii na ile, hakuna accident imepungua, instead accident zimeongezeka. Sasa hiyo ndio njia ambayo ungeuliza, kwa nini accident zimeongezeka, ni wapi tumeenda wrong. Kwa hivyo tunataka utuhusishe, tukae chini kwa mesa, tujue makosa iko wapi. Mambo ya kusema retesting, ujue hiyo ni jambo ambalo tunafaa kukubaliana. Na kama itafanyika, wacha ikuwe kwa drivers wote, na wacha ikuwe free. Si ati kusema ati lazima watu wa matatu wagaramie. Hiyo hapana. Wewe ndio umekuja na hiyo idea, basi wacha ikuwe ni project ya serikali. All drivers, regardless, hata wa pikipiki, wa tukutuku, wote wahusishwe, waende retesting. Hapo tutakubaliana.
As an indication of the magnitude of the problem, for instance, the manufacturing sector, where institutions such as the Kenya Bureau of Standards, the National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA, and the Departments of Weights and Measures all assert their authority over aspects such as labeling and inspection. This overlapping mandate often leads to confusion and inefficiencies for businesses striving to comply with regulatory requirements. Let me give another example. The food and beverage processing industry faces a similar challenge, with regulation spanning across multiple entities like NEMA, county governments, the Kenya Bureau of Halal Certification, and the Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Services, KEFIS. Even in the crucial area of waste management, the jurisdiction is shared between county governments and NEMA, adding another layer of complexity to compliance efforts. In the financial sector, there exists an overlap among regulatory bodies like the Capital Markets Authority, the Insurance Regulatory Authority, and the Circle Societies Regulatory Authority, SASRA. Consolidating their functions under a unified framework would undoubtedly enhance the collective impact and streamline regulatory processes. In the realm of intellectual property protection agencies, such as the Kenya Industrial Property Institute, KIPI, the Kenya Copyright Board, and the Anti-Counterfeiting Agency, all play distinct yet interconnected roles. By harnessing their expertise within a consolidated framework, we can eliminate redundancies and foster a more efficient system for safeguarding intellectual property rights. In the aviation sector, the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority is responsible for overseeing various aspects of civil aviation, including safety oversight, air navigation services, and aircraft registration. However, within this domain, other entities, such as the Kenya Airports Authority and the State Department of Transport, also hold significant regulatory roles. While the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority focuses on safety and regulatory compliance, Kenya Airports Authority manages airport infrastructure and operations, where there is often a duplication of efforts and conflicting directives. Furthermore, there is an element of uncertainty in some quarters with regard to which of these entities should oversight training schools, given that their roles are cross-cutting. I am aware that on account of the regulatory environment in aviation, we now have a situation where businesses prefer to have their aircraft serviced in Uganda and as far as Egypt, thus denying Kenyan businesses the opportunity. On this one, I can even emphasize that we have a situation where I have personally witnessed a situation where the Kenya Air Force, which actually boasts of the best engineering people in aviation, are struggling for more than a year to actually get a maintenance license. Kenya Air Force being taken in circles. That speaks volumes. My intention here is to provoke you to research online using available technology and infuse global best practices into our local regulatory environment. And I can tell you that the head of public service will not approve certain travels because they end up on his desk. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to express appreciation to the head of the public service for taking the lead in streamlining the regulatory authorities and agencies. And in this, I was telling him that to the best of my reflection, and I've been around government for some time, I cannot recollect when regulatory authorities, in particular, were convened to have this kind of dialogue. There are usually other convenings, but this one is a unique one, just focused on the regulatory. I also want to commend the head of public service for one very significant move. The powers of the Inspectorate of State Corporations had been curtailed for 7 years. Remember that. Remember the 7 years of Egypt. because the previous administration had not facilitated the appointment of the State Corporations Appeals Tribunal, a necessary tool to give effect to the surcharge mandate of the Inspectorate. Under the guidance of the Head of Public Service, tribunal members and the chairpersons were appointed, and the Inspectorate now has the power to surcharge. This power to surcharge is a critical tool in the war against corruption. 7 years. Just imagine. 7 years. People, by design, just making sure an entity of government is rendered dysfunctional, deliberately. As we speak here, as I talk about 7 years there, try and reflect, you as a regulator, if you go into your archives, how long have you taken to dispense with a decision that is required so that a business decision can be made one way or the other? Have you had it for 7 years? Have you had it for 5 years? Have you had it for 3 months? This is a time for us to look at ourselves internally. And don't say, I'm looking at you because I'm pointing a finger at you. If you know there is something like that, this is a time for you to reform yourself.
This meeting today, which is sort of a conference, was mooted several months ago. When this administration came to power, we sat in my office and we were asking ourselves, how do we make this government function? How do we make this government be efficient? And how do we make this government effective in delivery of service? So, Your Excellency, we found that the most critical team or institutions are institutions that have been mandated to regulate sectors in government and in the country. And if we bring them together and also give them some encouragement and support so that they can run their affairs within the legal framework they have been given, within the policies that they have generated, and within the delegated power that they have been given, we know for sure not only efficiency will be seen to be run, but we will see effectiveness, and we shall have a functioning government. And I'm very happy for the last 1 year, Your Excellency, we are seeing a lot of improvement in various sectors. Your Excellency, we had a lot of challenges when it comes to the built environment. Nowadays, we can see NCA and all other agencies around it working very hard to ensure that we have order. We've been seeing a lot of improvement in our environment. NEMA is now taking charge, and we are very happy. We are seeing a lot of improvement also in our roads. NTSA is working very hard, and all those information that we are seeing is because they are working very hard, they are moving very fast, and even the public now know even the statistics that come out of perhaps issues around regulation in that area. And all other regulators, like in tourism, like in the entire water sector, in education sector, we are very happy, Your Excellency, that there is a lot of progress